blackened wings they shone as night.
The voice 210 and the Duke of Rock. Oh yeah, kick it, brother.
Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Well, I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence up. You don't for me. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. It's no stranger, you and me. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it in the air tonight. It's Brenda, Wolf, and Diane. So listen up if you can. Yeah, journey with them today as they help you find your way. Oh, mental wellness is the topic of the hour. Mental health and the power to tap into our alignments will lead to our refinements. Phoenix Talk, a show like you've never seen. Phoenix Talks, awareness that has never been. Phoenix Talks with Brenda, Wolf, and Diane. Phoenix Talks, so tune in if you can.
Welcome everyone to Phoenix Talks. I don't know exactly why that's there. We make that go away for now. Well, just in case, there's my...
It looks cool.
Right? Okay. We're going to make that go away. Poof, got it. Welcome to Phoenix Talks. I am Brindle Wolf, and this is my lovely co-host. If you don't know her for your first time, the Reverend Diane.
Hello. This will be a fun convo tonight. Tell us our topic.
It definitely should be, or could be, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of been blocked and deleted out of my head. See what
Very
yes.
cheeky.
Right. Brindle Wolf, the king of corny lead-ins.
It works.
Right.
So,
and I see we got Sandra and Lunaria in the house. Welcome. Good to see you guys. So,
hi everyone. I don't have my chat mode up, so I don't see the chats.
Uh-oh.
No, I just have it on a different view. There you go. Now I got the chats up. I'm squinting at it anyway, and you're just going to see me squinting. Hello, everyone.
We are going to talk about block and delete. What does that mean? Where did that come from? Why are we talking about it? Because it's important.
Do tell.
It's important. I mean, we have a lot of Gen Xers that watch this show, and perhaps some even older. So all of you Gen Zers, all you millennials who are, just hearing this for the first time, ghosting didn't exist for us. Blocking didn't exist for us. Unless you knew the hashtag code or the pound code to block a particular number. But then you had the concern of blocking all of them. If you were fortunate enough to have parents who could afford caller ID once it was invented.
Right.
But see, you guys are lucky.
I'm Gen X. There was no caller ID.
There wasn't caller ID, and
right.
That was how we dialed.
The way we blocked people back in the day is if we had a photograph, we would just take a big pen and scribble the crap out of their face. That was it. That was.
Give me your yearbook.
I better laughing at that one who understands that very clearly.
Right, and passing notes in a class, that was our form of texting. And if you didn't want to receive the text and you wanted to block the person, you threw the paper away and didn't open it. And it was usually folded in like a football.
Yes. AKA.
Bing. Uh-oh. Did I freeze or did she? She froze. Uh-oh. Diane is going to have to refresh. She left me hanging. She blocked me. Where'd she go? Anyway. I don't have somebody to talk to. I'm feeling a little ghosted, but she's messaging me. 1 moment. Okay, she'll be right back. Oh, you have to love technology. There she went, and the doorbell on my end will ring again shortly to let her back in. But blocking and deleting, when I was growing up, I didn't have it. I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't have that luxury if somebody was bothering me. But now it's so easy. But we don't do it. Right? How convenient. Convenient timing that she froze up and had to leave. That was really convenient timing. And she's gonna have to go back and rewatch what I'm saying. Excuse me. But isn't that crazy? How crazy is it that we live in a day and age where if you get scam calls, spam people trolling your social media, that with a few clicks of a button, gone. Sure, they can create a new account and figure out how to find you again, and you do the same again. Gone. Pretty easy, right? So why don't we do it enough? And that's pretty much why I wanted to have this conversation with Diane. She's leaving me hanging. She's leaving me ghosted. She really is. I know it's not her fault. I'm just kidding. Oh, here we go. Here we go. She's back. You gave a wonderful example of ghosting.
Courtesy of all that is spirit and divine timing and intervention.
Right? She done blocked and deleted the show.
Oops. Sorry. Whoopsie. How perfect is that? I mean, this life.
I mean, you want to talk about conversational constipation that just happened here, okay?
That is hilarious. That is so. Thanks for your patience, folks.
No.
What I miss? I missed the good stuff, didn't I?
No. I was just telling them that you and I didn't have the capabilities that we do today to keep the trollers, the spammers, the people that we don't want around away from us by just blocking and deleting.
Right.
I mean, that's the easy part of the conversation. Everybody nowadays knows that, unless they don't. And I do know people who don't.
Right.
I know people who still have landlines, and they only have a cell phone for emergencies, and ask them to dial 911, and they don't know how to.
Right.
Let alone blocking and deleting a person that they don't want to hear from. But that's not really why we want to have the conversation. We want to have the conversation as to what leads up to it, why. Mm-hmm. And it goes beyond the obvious of removing the spam emails, blocking those senders so that they aren't hacking. You also want to be aware of people that are trying to perceive themselves as somebody else, or present themselves as somebody else.
Right.
To get into your account wherever it is and pretend to be you and do whatever it is that they do. I mean, that's another obvious that we now all know about. But what about the people that you think about doing it? That's where we're going to go right now. What are your thoughts?
So when do you know when to block? Because if we're talking about the people that actually matter, and that is the people that are draining your energy, we already know about all the obvious that you just mentioned. If they don't matter to you, you already blocked and deleted them without caring. If you haven't yet, it's time to practice with the people in your outer circle and let that sit in and see how that feels. Because a lot of times folks don't block and delete because they have this false sense of obligation and responsibility to maintain a connection with the person as if it's going to make a difference somehow or be necessary or whatever. They're telling themselves to justify and legitimize maintaining a connection with somebody who's obviously not at all out for their health and well-being. And so that's why I said, well, when the second you realize how not on the same page you are at all, the second you realize how toxic they are, is when you start the block delete process. And it starts in here first because you'll have to give yourself permission to get them out of your space energetically as well. Because that's what block and deleting is, right? It's an energy block.
Yeah.
It's cutting off their access to your energy. Because every time they text you, every time they whatever, and you see it show up, they know you have a response to it.
And there's a lot of times that people will be reactionary when it comes to blocking and deleting,
Mm-hmm.
where it's literally just a misunderstanding between the two people.
Mm-hmm.
And in reaction mode, well, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, block, delete. And then, oh, crap, I didn't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the situation and the person, they could either be like, okay, that was a little harsh, but let's talk. Or not. Could also have that too. But when we don't want to point to, if you have misunderstanding with somebody and you don't feel aligned with them, it's not an immediate, okay, block, delete, get out. This is something that happens over time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Carrie, if you took it there, that's on you, not me, even though I know you would, as I was saying. She felt called out.
Oh,
So I called her out
because I'm like,
She felt called out. She mentioned it, so I called her out. A year to the day of
Yeah.
a similar thing that happened. Yes. Sorry. Not sorry. And I love you.
Yeah. So,
Just don't block, delete me. I need
yes, block and delete is important. It's important for us to give ourselves some space from somebody's energy that is really of no use to us. Block and delete is important to eliminate toxicity from our experience, especially on social media. And that includes family members, because we're talking about the blocking and deleting of the people that actually matter. And so when you're blocking and deleting family members, you're not required to give any details or reasons why, and you don't owe anyone an explanation. And I think that's important for folks to give themselves an understanding of at a deeper level.
And I wonder how many people, maybe not that are watching right now, but I wonder how many people who are going to see this replay and hear what you just said and stop watching.
That's okay. You're not ready yet.
No.
Yeah. At the end of the day, toxic is toxic, and I'm not one of those therapists that insist that you reconnect with toxic people just because of DNA familiarity and similarity. And so we all have our own threshold and we all have our own understanding. So what I would ask is, well, if you keep that line of communication open with the individual and they maintain a level of toxicity being projected at you, how much is enough for you? And you have to decide what that line is. And that incorporates into the when do you know when it's right to block. And this is why I say it starts within here. because you have to make peace with the idea that you're not obligated or responsible to maintain a connection with somebody just because.
Exactly. Not too long ago, probably in the last couple of years, I had to block family members.
Mm-hmm.
And my reasoning may be a misperception,
Mm-hmm.
but it was never the attempt to resolve it on the opposite end was never
Mm-hmm.
really made. It was
Right.
like a dangling carrot. Oh, okay, well, we'll fix it right now. Let's have a really nice conversation. Let's go out to dinner. And then silence. Bye. And I love you.
Right. And
And I
that
love myself more.
and I can guarantee that wasn't a one-time thing either. I can guarantee that was a giant pile of repeat pattern behavior that
And it was hard to do.
that disrespected your time and your energy.
Yeah.
And
it
yes,
was
it is hard to do.
And that's why I
Definitely.
mentioned about the people that would possibly be tuning out as soon as you had mentioned about blocking, deleting family.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
there would be a huge amount of accountability inside to
Right.
get over, a huge amount of healing.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you already have to heal whatever the reasons were that you made the decision, that you finally
Right.
said enough. I
Yeah.
mean, that part aside, but to get the amount of courage it takes,
Yeah.
they're going to switch immediately to anger and deflection. And I could never do that. You just don't do that to family. How many times have we heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Or said it?
Well, let me back that up a minute.
Please.
And to help individuals move past that false sense of obligation that's drilled into your programming. Why are you, this is a question you got to ask yourself. I'm not asking you. Why are you giving them control over how you use social media? And why are you giving them control over when and with whom you should speak to? You're in charge. You decide what you want in your experience, in your energy field. If it is a toxic person who has no good intentions for you, and I say it that way, but that's a slippery slope because in their own personal perspective, they believe they have good intentions for you, but based on their own projected judgments and limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say it that way, because you have to be the one to decide what is good for you. And if their energy isn't, you're the only one that needs to give yourself permission and be okay with cutting that tether, cutting that tie. And you'd be surprised at how much more energy you have with certain people when you actually hit the block and delete button. It is one of the most challenging and confusing self-care actions you could take. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so easy. Now, I want to quickly address in the chat, we got algorithm saying that it took years to break my family of how different I am from them, but with time and patience, I was able to open their eyes. I want to correct your thought on that. You continue to be you without what they said as interference with preventing you to be you. You did not change them. They changed themselves. They broke the habit. They broke the mindset. You stayed consistent and true. They made the decision that if I'm going to maintain a relationship, I need to change how I'm viewing.
Mm-hmm.
That decision was theirs. Exactly, Moosh. They learned to accept.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. But that only happens when you keep those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And a block and delete, with this conversation, the block and delete is literally just a boundary. Somebody else said earlier, maintaining the boundaries and keeping the boundaries. This is a hard boundary, energetically and in the physical world.
Right.
Right.
And you know what actually inspired this conversation?
Tell us.
Was a conversation with Diane about some postings that I had put over on one of the social apps.
Yeah.
And some of the commentary that was coming back. That was the inspiration for this. And her response to each and every one of them was, well, that's why.
Black and delete. Here's
now,
go ahead.
One thing I want everybody watching to be very acutely aware of. If you enter into a conversation, we're going to go with politics. Okay? If you enter into a conversation about politics and expect that everybody's going to be kind, not happening. If you expect that everybody is going to respond to you kindly, not happening. You have the option of not even entering. But if you find yourself going back and forth, and with strangers, people that you haven't met in person, why we get so uptight about people that we haven't even met based on what they say and they don't know damn thing about us.
That's stuff for us to reflect upon and
Yes.
feel and love ourselves and compassion ourselves more deeply on. Because we shouldn't have any kind of reaction to a total stranger and their words at all. If we do, then let's look at ourselves and see why we had that response and what that reminded us of.
Right. But if you go into the conversation with the intention of trying to teach people a certain thing, that's what I mean. Be prepared to not take it personally when people are like, shut up.
Yeah.
I didn't take it personally. I just said, I love you too.
And we gave birth to a new trend, didn't we?
Right.
You did anyway. I just said, yeah, I'm with it. Let's go. And that's how
they
go
took
love
it the
yourself.
wrong way when I said, go love yourself. Now, were they completely wrong? Maybe not.
Right.
But at the same time, why sit there and have an argument when you clearly do not love yourself enough to have an adult conversation with me? So I think you need to go love yourself.
The way I look at social media for us professionals is this is my store, my product, my offering, my services, whatever terminology you need to use for yourself. And remind yourself, none of these internet strangers have any bearing on your existence, and that you get to choose who you accept and receive in your space, services, whatever you want to call it. Okay? So if there is communication coming at you via comments or whatever, messages, whatever it is, the block and delete is very important, because that's like putting a sign on your door that we treat people in here with respect, kindness, and compassion. And if you break those rules, these are the house rules. You're the house. Your page is the house.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. So
it's like Rise Radio in the chat community. Number one rule, no cruelty. No bullying.
Kindness. Yep.
And if I catch it, bye.
Right. And the block and delete is very, very much so a taking your power back move for you to help yourself get rid of energy.
For those of you in the back of the class, she was talking about energy vampires. Okay.
Yeah.
They suck the life right out of you. And guess what? You let them.
Yes. Yeah. And so back to, I'm going to circle it back to who it's most like the internet people. If you're having an issue with it, listen to what we said. It should be easier to just block and delete them. The biggest trouble with that is your ex. your ex-family members, like in-laws, because some of them are only nice to you because they're feeding information, right? In some dynamics, especially in the abusive ones.
I lived that.
Parents and family members that treat your page like their personal opinion conversation page. That's not healthy for you, and it's your page, not theirs, to express and enforce their opinion and project their opinion.
And go.
No, go ahead.
One of the reasons that it's so difficult to set your boundaries because it's just not working out and things are not healthy for you. And doing the block and delete, it's because of 6 degrees of separation. Who are they attached to? That you know that you want to maintain a relationship, but you don't know if you can trust it because the other two still talk. There's still communication, there's still friendship, there's still a relationship between the person that you blocked and other people. Mm-hmm. So it's that, and this is one thing that prevents you from holding your own. Mm-hmm. Not realizing, hey, I learned, I won't go how or tell how, but I learned really well how to not take sides and to be my side and to live in my truth while maintaining a relationship with people that were at odds. The only rule that I have, and it's not even a rule, but it's one of those respect things where if I have a friendship with 2 people who are at odds, okay, I'm not part of that. I don't want to be part of that. Mm-hmm. All I ask is that you respect me by respecting each other should you guys be in the same room. That's all I ask. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do that, then we're going to have to choose either one of you only be here or neither of you be here. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to give up my boundaries. I'm not going to give up my energy and my mental health to play this game.
So something came up as you were saying that, and it's the, you know how people are like, yeah, but what about? Yeah, but what about? Yeah, but what about? Okay, because here's the thing. When you block and delete, you're going to get pushback from some people. And sometimes you can't necessarily block and delete, even if you want to.
Yeah.
And so if you can't target them and say, this person here has limited access to me electronically, because depending on what platform you're on, if you can do that or not, limit your interaction with them to only the specific social media platform that allows you to minimize and limit their access to you on that platform.
I know that Facebook gives you the hide notifications option. Mm-hmm. And you can turn off individually people that you don't want to see. Mm-hmm. You have that option if it's a situation where you just can't.
Right.
And they exist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a lot of different anomalies that people encounter in their experiences. So use your discernment, because each one is circumstantial, but at the end of the day, the whole idea is for you to heal what false sense of obligation and responsibility you have, and understand that is the highest level of self-care if it is a definite toxic situation that is draining you and stealing some of your energy. And I say it that way because nobody can steal from you. But at the end of the day, if they're coming up in your mind, they've taken some of your thoughts. So to me, that means you're still kind of tethered to them in some way. So doing the whole block and delete helps you draw that hard boundary.
Hard being the operative word, because it's not easy. It's not. If it's a reaction, block and delete, that's one. And there are certain circumstances where immediate block and delete is required
Mhm.
as a reaction, as a response.
Mhm.
But to get to that point,
Yeah.
and we're not talking about the social rooms and the random conversations in groups. We're not talking
Yeah.
about those.
Yeah.
They're included, but we're not talking about those. But if somebody in your life has gotten you to the point where just the sheer thought of them
Yeah.
changes your chemical physiology in your body, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to describe it.
Right.
All I got to point to is your body, because your body tells you
Right.
just at the mere thought of them.
Mhm. That's a problem. That's a big problem.
Red flag, red flag, red flag.
Then it helps you. It helps you regulate your nervous system again. If you don't have that thing in the back of your mind, it's like, are they reaching out? Ugh, oh God, I don't want to see their face on my screen. You know, if you have these icky feelings about it, you have no obligation to maintain anything in that direction.
No. You are
Yeah.
responsible for your health
Right.
first.
Right. Right. And if you could do it in the least connected way, sometimes I suggest giving that individual an email address that you don't tend to very often and having them communicate with you via email. It's very disconnected. Because even Messenger is like very personal, right? Like it's like
And
but you have to
if you're on
give some,
Facebook and you're on your computer and you have it open, the tab up above, like it is now
Yeah.
for me, is flashing. Diane messaged you. Diane messaged you.
yes, to tell you I'll be back on in a minute. Whoopsie.
But no, it was just to use it for reference. Plus, you got all
Right.
the little bubbles on your phone. Oh my
Right.
God!
Right.
You know,
It creates that repeat pattern of nervous system dysregulation, and there's no point
right?
in having that because there's no reason for you to interact with this person at all.
Right. I mean, if you've hit the point where the cabin has lost pressure and the compartment above your head has popped open and oxygen masks have dropped down, put yours on first, please.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's healthy to remember that block and delete doesn't just limit to social media. Phone numbers need to be blocked. You can block them on Google, on Apple, whatever devices that you're using and programs that you're using. They kind of have to be blocked and deleted in every aspect. Okay, wait, that brought up something else. Sometimes you want to block them, but you don't want to delete them so that in case something ever came up, you would still recognize it because you will forget it, and you don't want to. Sometimes you got to keep them in there just so you don't confuse that it might be someone else. So you know that we don't want that.
And if it's at the next level of stalking,
mm-hmm.
and you have tried to block and delete, and they just create again, and then you have to block and delete, and they just create again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Yahoo has this wonderful thing for emails where you can block the sender without deleting. Save them, put them in a file.
Yeah.
Because harassment is a thing, and it's illegal.
Right.
It is a cybercrime.
It is.
And they do not take it lightly, I know.
Good. Yeah, you went through a lot.
Because I had to block and delete a lot. But I also had to take a lot of screenshots before I blocked and deleted.
Right.
So if it's at that level of a problem,
keep the evidence.
Please keep the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in your phone, keep it in the file.
The court requires it, so just keep the evidence.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. He said, she said, it doesn't mean anything. They need to see it in writing. So
no.
You use your discernment with your situation.
Not unless you want to pay heavily for a lawyer and subpoena people.
I could hear the question, okay, what if I have them blocked and deleted everywhere, but they still show up at my door and I don't have a choice because they're coming with family and it's, or some other reason where
Oh, wow.
they're in your presence and space. So you can block and delete them in person through the gray rock method. And for those unfamiliar, it's the type of minimal response and energy towards the abusive person kind of technique that you use when you're dealing with narcissistic personality disorder and traits and people that are just toxic and clueless and whatever. So the less you give your energy in their direction, the healthier things are for you. So in a sense, you're creating a wall by not giving them any more than your barest minimum obligation in that specific moment, engaged in the whatever's going on around you.
And here's the thing, when it comes to the situation that she described, that is when the family members are pulled to the side and the conversation had, because you know that they have to know. You've probably told them, or the other member of the family has told them. And the decision was made to invite without notification into your space.
Right.
I want anyone who knows me to imagine how that would go in my house. That would be an all different kind of block and delete.
Right. And sometimes an algorithm is saying something about the police and the justice system are toxic too. Yes, they are.
Yes.
There's toxicity everywhere around us. Use your discernment on how much energy you give of yourself in whatever circle, your arena, circumstances you find yourself in. Understand that the amount of energy you give or don't give is the boundary and what it looks like. Because even in circumstances and situations where you're very giving of yourself willingly, you still have some kind of like, okay, but this is as far as I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like even your bestie, if your bestie said that they needed you to hop in the car because you're going to drive 25 hours right now to do something, and you decide, well, that doesn't meet my needs because I have this done. That's
perfect
just
timing, Marie.
Right. It's considerate of my time. You know, like if there's something not sitting right with you, you still have a limitation, right? Even if they're the best person on the planet in your life, you still have your limitations. So just keep that in mind, because we tend to believe that we can have boundaries with safe people because they allow it, but we can't have boundaries with toxic people because they don't allow it. Well, that's all the more reason to have the boundaries with them.
Yeah.
And your energy is precious. So block and delete, to me, carries through to different aspects of what that might translate to in other avenues in your experience.
It helps you to open and obtain.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be easy? No.
It never is. It gets easier though. Then it becomes like, I'm gonna like whatever, block, delete. I have no tolerance.
Nope. She'd be really lonely on that app that I was in that conversation with. Real lonely. Because so many people would have been like, nope.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Say no. It's like saying no. No, I am not going to allow myself to experience this just because you decided that's what you wanted.
Now, the weird thing is that because of my calling and where I'm guided to go and do certain things, unfortunately, and this is one reason why when she said block and delete, I was like, you're cute. Because I was literally placed in that conversation so that I could make the comments that I did, so that I could plant a seed to catalyze the change. That's where the difference is. See,
Yeah.
it's not draining my energy because I'm not allowing it to. Did it upset me? Well, maybe a little. Did it make me laugh hysterically? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they said I had more red flags than a matador.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just-
And that's it. You got to use your discernment if that's what, because if you're following your intuition and you're being in alignment with who you are and what feels right to you, use your discernment on how much of a blockage you want to put between you and
right.
the person, and how much of your energy might work in this environment, that kind of thing. So you really have to use your discernment.
And you don't always have to answer immediately.
No, you don't.
And if that is a requirement, block, delete.
Yes. I have a smaller tolerance window at this point in my experience because my focus.
Marie. She's agreeing. She's like,
So does she.
I know what she's talking about. Oh, Lord, don't get her started. Please don't get her started because I know what she's talking about. I get to listen to it all the time.
I've reached a place in my life where I just will not even think twice before blocking and deleting. Yeah. I don't care who you are.
She would do it to me if I crossed.
My piece is, and that's, you know what, that's the reality. If I'm being disrespected, but I can't imagine you ever doing that anyway. So.
Not on purpose.
But the underlying point is, if I'm being disrespected and my needs are not being honored, and my care, consideration, compassion, and respect and love are not being reciprocated to a degree at which is acceptable, because not everyone's at your level, then I'm not open to receiving any energy that does not align with who I am as a person, my heart, my purpose, my goals, any interaction that's not meaningful and aligned will not happen. And it's my page if we're talking about social media. It's my life if we're talking about family and friends. It's my peace and what I choose if you're talking to anyone. Yes.
I actually got thanked the other day for how safe Evolve Merge is.
Oh, good.
Because
that's so important.
It really is. And that's something important for me. Is it an open invite? Yes. Do you have to click the link to get there or be invited directly by me? Yes. Will I kick you out if you start spamming? Yes. If you disrespect one of the members? Yes.
Yes.
I will. And there is another group that I am in where the poor man who owns it, at least twice a week, he is making these posts about people coming in and spamming and being cruel and making these comments. It's just like, just block, delete them, get them out. You don't have to tell us why. Mm-hmm. We know why. The people that are in here care about why we're here. That's what we want to see. We don't give a damn about you removing the people that are not respecting you. Bye.
Right. Exactly. But block and delete is probably one of the healthiest things you can do for yourself. It really is.
Yes.
Yes. Marie wants to block and delete me right now.
No, I think she wants to block and delete the show and go and do some things.
I think so too.
So I think we've driven the point home on blocking and deleting. And unless you have been inspired for next week's topic, we'll just have to be surprised.
I don't know yet. It'll come to me.
Algorithm has blocked and deleted you. He no longer will see.
Thank you, Algorithm. I feel honored.
Let's put yours up first. Okay. Shameless plug time.
Yay! Come find me on healingrose.org. I am a nonprofit. I do help the community with free workshops and whatnot. So whatever I do put aside for that. Yes, mommy, I'm so sorry.
2 minutes, mommy.
I do public speaking too. I don't know if people know that. I do public speaking
That's awesome.
and teach. Yes, bigger groups. All right, go for it.
And if you talk to her nicely, she might even do a large group Zoom for you. So,
I can. Marie might want to say goodbye sooner.
All right. If you want to find me, you can find me around Brenda Wolf Untriggered. The website is untriggered.net. Really easy to find. And if you are interested in joining the Evolve and Emerge group, scan the barcode at the top of your screen or click on the link in the description and feel free to join. For those of you who are in Evolve and Emerge or interested, this weekend is Risers in Flight, Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. It is open to all of the members of Evolve and Emerge. Conversation is based on membership. Please keep that in mind. I also still have the Phoenix Fire Poll available in Evolve and Emerge, which is a free guide. You pull your own tarot card, I send you a guide, and it helps you to work through whatever it is that you're going through. To date, 100% accuracy for every person who has picked their card. They were like, oh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So if you're interested, it's all available over at Evolve and Emerge. And we will be back next week, same time, same channel. Hope that you join us. If you've watched this far in the replay, thank you so much. For everybody in the chat, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you. We love you. Keep going. And remember, you can block and delete if you gotta. You don't wanna, but if you gotta, stay back.
It's okay. Bye, everyone. Marie says bye too.
Bye, Marie.
It's Brenda Wolf and Diane, so listen up if you can. Yeah, journey with them today as they help you find your way. Oh, mental wellness is the topic of the hour. Mental health and the power to tap into